Women in the 50s didn't have bank accounts. They had hiding spots, and they were better at saving than any bank. The coffee can on Dorothy's shelf smelled like rust and arithmetic. Spring 1948, Clarksburg, West Virginia. Monday mornings, while Edward laced his boots, she lifted the coffee can, not to brew, to count. $26. That was it.
4 people to keep alive until Sunday night. Edward, herself, Tommy, who had just turned 8, and little Anna, 5 years old last March. Edward stopped in the doorway, hat in hand.
Supper waiting for me tonight? It will be.
The door closed. Steel-toed boots on wooden steps, then nothing. Dorothy set the Maxwell house can on the table, carefully, the way you set down something that matters. The coal mine was 4 miles outside town.
Edward rode the company bus there every morning and came back every evening with a black face. Dorothy knew one thing about that mine. Someday it would close. Not this year, maybe not next, but it would. Edward had said so himself, on the porch on Friday evenings after the children were asleep, talking about a shop he wanted, a small smithy, tool repair, custom ironwork. I've got the hands for it, Dorothy. Just need the capital. Dorothy would say, I know, and then she'd go quiet, because she was already calculating. The first rule came from her mother. Always spend less than what comes in. $26 came in. She would run the house on $22. $4 stayed back. $4 a week. The Maxwell house can lived behind the flour tin. Nobody looked there. But how do you pull $4 out of 26 without anyone going to bed hungry?
Tuesdays, Dorothy took her basket to 3 stores. A&P for tomatoes, cheap this week. Kroger for butter and flour. Albert's Butcher for soup bones. Bones were cheap. A good soup stretched 2 days. She knew how. Bacon grease went into a small tin on the back of the stove. She used it instead of oil for eggs and greens. The year before, she'd worked it out. That one habit saved nearly $20 a year.
Day-old bread from Adam's Bakery. Half price, yesterday's loaves. Her family couldn't tell the difference. A small notebook lived in the kitchen drawer. Blue cover, faded. Dorothy wrote in it every week. Groceries, $4.50. Milk, 70 cents. Coal, $3.20. Tommy's shoes, not this month, next month. Electric, be ready. The notebook was her mind, written outside her head. When the numbers were on the page, the worry was smaller.
Come spring, Dorothy planted along the back fence. Tomatoes, pole beans, peppers, more than the house needed. The surplus she sold on Fridays from the front step. Women in the neighborhood knew. Dorothy's vegetables were fresh and the price was fair. 15 cents one week, 30 cents the next. Small money, but it was cash and it was hers. Mrs. Kavanaugh across the street had 2 boys who were underfoot every afternoon. Her husband worked the same mine. Dorothy made her an offer. Bring your boys over. Let them play with Tommy and Anna. Mrs. Kavanaugh said, I can't pay you. Dorothy said, you have potatoes? From that week on, a small sack appeared at the door every Friday. Mrs. Parker, 2 houses down, had the same arrangement, summer squash and green beans. Dorothy's vegetable bill had nearly halved. She took paid orders from the neighborhood women, too. Apple pies, cherry preserves, bread and butter pickles. $1 here, $1.50 there. But cash, and hers. That money she kept separate, inside the sewing basket, beneath the spools of thread. She sewed the children's clothes herself. Flour came in printed cotton sacks, roses, small checks, blue stripes. 3 sacks side by side made a dress. Tommy didn't know. Anna was too young to care. When the clothes grew short, Dorothy picked out the hems and let them down. Another year. A pair of shoes lasted longer if you took proper care of them. Tommy's haircuts she did herself, every 3 weeks with a wall clipper she'd bought for $6. In a year, she figured, she'd saved $40 in barber fees. It was a Friday evening. The children were in bed. Edward sat by the radio. Dorothy brought tea and sat down. Edward Your smithy, if you were going to open it, what would you need? He turned. Why are you asking? Just tell me. $300, maybe $350, for the tools and the lease on that building off 5th Street. But Dorothy, that money doesn't exist. It'd take 5 years to save. Dorothy stood up. She went to the kitchen. A moment later, she came back. She set the coffee can on the table, the sewing basket beside it.
A small envelope that had been living inside a library book. Count it.
Edward went still. He pulled out the bills, from the can, from the basket, from the envelope, laid them on the table one by one. Dorothy, what is this?
$317. Silence. From where? From the house, from the garden, from the pies I baked, from the clothes I didn't buy, from the haircuts I gave, from the bread I bought a day late. She paused. $4 a week. 4 years. Edward's hands were trembling. Dorothy knew exactly what that meant. I didn't know. I know you didn't. In the fall of 1952, a small smithy opened on 5th Street in Clarksburg. The hand-painted sign on the door read, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson, tool repair and custom work. But the one who kept the books was Dorothy. The same blue notebook, faded now, sat on a small table in the corner of the shop. Edward told customers, "My wife figures better than I do." Dorothy would call from the back, "Edward, we're out of coffee. Should we go?" Edward would laugh. The customer never understood why, but they knew.